My name is Tomas Dunbar and I'm going to show you how you can sell your virtual tour services for 5 figures and beyond without having to compete with other competitors. So first of all, please close out of all your other tabs in your browser and give you this your sole focus for the next 40 minutes, or watch this at a time where you won't be distracted, and I promise you that you will get so much value from this training that you'll be able to start a highly profitable virtual tour business or completely transform your existing one. I have also added in a special offer waiting for you at the end, so you'll want to watch this completely. So first of all, I'm guessing that a lot of you will have read all the Facebook groups, forums and sales advice for selling virtual tour services. The first thing I want to say is that if you have failed to hit your goals or failed to consistently get high paying clients to pay for your virtual tour services, it's not your fault. There's a lot of misinformation out there and it can be confusing, and often the overload information can be actually what keeps you from making real progress, but that's okay. If you have been concerned that you cannot make a highly profitable business selling virtual tour services as your core offer, I want to put those fears to rest. You can do this, and it's not actually as difficult as you might think. You just have not seen a business model that actually works and that is easy to stick to, easy to follow, and is explained to you in the correct manner. The top 1% of businesses in this industry have found some of the secrets and what sets them apart, and I'm here to unveil and reveal some of those to you today. So the 360 and 3D camera businesses and virtual tour platforms that you might be using, they don't really care about if you succeed or not. A lot of them, they want to sell as much as possible, often directly marketing towards your customers and closing out the market on you. I actually care about your success and truly want you to be able to succeed and achieve your goals in your business and in your life. So that is why we are here. I know you have a dream of building a profitable virtual tour business, and I want to show you how to make that happen during this training video. So my goal for this training is to help two kinds of people. For those who want to start a virtual tour business or are just new to the industry, you'll get to see how to build a virtual tour business the right way to ensure that your price point and services start at a much higher point than existing operators in your market. For those who already have an existing business and have some experience in the industry, you will see how you can remap your business and so you can ensure that you become seen as a specialist and start to reach those high value projects and those high value clients. I will show you how to do this without having to become an expert in other skills to bump up your price. So my goal for this training is to show you that there's only one really effective and consistent way to sell your virtual tour services for a much higher price than your competitors, and you don't need to have loads of add-ons to achieve this. It is also my goal to show you that there's only one real way to get a steady stream of customers who pay more for your services by using the methods that I'm about to show you. So why should you trust me, I'm sure you're asking? Well, let me tell you a little bit about my backstory. My journey started in this industry back in 2016, but really 3 years before this. I was fresh out of 4 years in college with a first class honours degree in sales and marketing and online media, and I started a full-time job the following week. I eventually ended up as the marketing manager for a Remax regional real estate franchise, and I worked there for 3 years, working directly with 12 real estate offices. I wore a suit to work every day, but I was making just a little over minimum wage, and with no real opportunity for progression. And in a slow economy, I purchased my first 360 camera to start a side business. I started offering premium virtual tour services for the offices I had access to. But 6 months later, and very little sales, I was actually forced to move out of my apartment and back home at the age of 25. So it was a pretty miserable time in my life. My virtual tour venture had been a flop so far, and I was deflated to say the least. I finished as one of the top of my class in college, and I had 3 years experience in what would be seen as a somewhat senior marketing role, but I had nothing to show for it except a bank account in arrears. I realised that even offices and people that I was friendly with and actually had a good business relationship with, they didn't want to spend money on my services, and I was very confused as to why this was. That why soon hit me, and it was, what did they actually get out of it and what did they really need them for? None of this mattered. The relationship didn't matter to these business owners because I was creating no clear win-win scenario or showing them how they could actually get a return on their investment. I was getting projects here and there, but nothing concrete. So because of that, I started to branch into other industries, and the same things were happening. So then what changed for me, I suppose, is a good question. What I started to do was I started to create certainty in what I was offering, and I went back to my roots, which was sales and marketing. I'd studied this for 40 years, but I started to completely ignore it when it came to the sales process and the after sales process. I started from scratch. I did underpaid and free projects to build up my portfolio and get testimonials and actual results in terms of hard figures for my clients, and this allowed me to completely transform my business. I'm sure you're thinking and asking yourself that there's more to it than that, and I'm telling you that no, there actually isn't. You just don't have a clear plan in place to achieve this yet. If you have an existing offering virtual tour services, how many actual case studies do you have that you can actually show a potential customer of a similar business that you've worked with, that you've got clear results for them and got them a clear return on investment from working with you? I'm guessing that 99% of you probably don't have any of them, right? That's what separates the top 1% from the other 99%. So I stepped away from this industry over 18 months ago to travel the world with my partner and live our dream of working remotely. Since then, I've set up a successful web design and digital marketing consulting business, and I've also acted as a consultant to businesses that sell virtual tour services in this time. I've worked with over 100 paying clients in the last 18 months, and I'm now going to focus my entire time on helping others succeed in their virtual tour ventures. Here's a quick look at some of my client testimonials, so you can actually see, I suppose, the level of service that I've been providing over the past 18 months in my business and the level of service that I strive to provide. So I think it is worth showing you this because in every industry, and also the services within these industry, they're the same to some degree, in that once you build up confidence in your services and continue to build your success stories, you can then start to develop new offers for niche markets, and your price rises with this. This is how I scaled my digital marketing business over the past 18 months, and also how I scaled my virtual tour business from, say, 150 to 200 euro shoots at the start to having multiple 5-figure shoots some months once I focused on this new strategy. And all of this only took me a couple of months. So what am I going to teach you during this training? So in the next 30 minutes or so, I'm going to teach you and show you how you can completely transform your current business or start a highly profitable virtual tour business in record time. I will do this by taking you through the process in 4 steps. Number 1 and number 2 are linked together, but it is important to differentiate them. So let's take a little look. So number 1 is how to build a specialized virtual tour business in only 3 steps. Number 2, I'm going to show you how to set up every project for future successes. Number 3, I'm going to show you how to close the exact same customers for double the price. And number 4, I'm going to show you how you can offer a guarantee to double your conversion rates. So let's take a little look at number 1. So how do you build a specialized virtual tour business in only 3 steps? So before I get into this, I want to tell you a little bit about my journey and how this took off, how my business took off, and how this directly relates to this. So my journey as a virtual tour service provider really took off when I had a chance encounter with a wedding band singer, the free shoot I was doing in my early days in this business. It led to a couple of projects with that company I worked for, which was a specialized construction business that serviced the pharmaceutical sector. I was making up to €1,000 for one day shoots that would usually take no more than a couple of hours, which is very profitable, especially at that time in my life where my only other shoots were smaller real estate ones for pennies. I had completed shoots at 4 multinational pharmaceutical companies in a couple of months, and I had case studies that nobody else could claim. But the real epiphany came to me when I tried to actually sell my services to other pharmaceutical plants and industrial plants and industrial factories. I couldn't even reach somebody to discuss it with the majority of the time, not to mind actually get an in-person meeting. But I was still getting referrals in this time from the businesses I had worked with. So unknown to me at the time, I actually had a very, very much sought after service that solved a number of problems in these large industrial plants. The interesting thing that every plant that I actually worked with, they saw a different need and use for it, and every person I worked with, they had a different role or different title. So at the time I was thinking, how am I actually supposed to sell my services if number 1, I don't know who to actually contact, and number 2, what they actually wanted for. So let's fast forward 6 months later, and my business had actually merged with a software company, and we turned our attention back to this industry because we knew we had something special, and I knew that I'd really underutilized what was actually there. So we changed our strategy and started to leverage individuals and companies that could get us the introductions to the right people in these plants. More importantly, my price for a one-day shoot at a pharmaceutical or an industrial plant used to be, say, €1,000 for a couple of hours or for a day shoot, but now the specialised business and the specialised offer that we'd built that supplied virtual tour experiences for, say, training purposes, industrial tourism purposes, and employee induction purposes was now priced anywhere from, say, €5,000 to €15,000 a day, depending on the size and the scope of the project. So I suppose it's important to show you and important for you to see that by simply reframing our offer, we were able to build a specialised business that fulfilled a specific purpose. And now we were not just another virtual tour service provider, and we were not something that could be easily replicated or easily changed for. So I am sure that you already might be having a few aha moments and where you can see where this is going. So what can you learn from this? So how can you build a specialised business in only 3 steps? So step 1 is to get a testimonial from your client. If you can't get results in terms of figures, get results in terms of how you help them. So how you can do this to set yourself up for future success is discuss exactly what the purpose of what you are providing them is in terms of the content. And so you can then ask for a testimonial commenting on this afterwards. You need to over deliver the project first and foremost. So if it is a wedding venue, for example, you sell them on your services and then make it very clear that the purpose of the tour is to more effectively communicate with potential customers to increase their wedding bookings and shorten the sales process. So if you over deliver and set a plan in place on how they can actually use the content, the virtual experiences, and how they can implement it correctly over the coming months, you can ask them for a testimonial before they even actually see results. So more so, you can actually ask them for a testimonial on how they are using the content to effectively communicate with potential customers. This is how you can actually set up every project for a winning case study. So step 2 is to build a new offer around this testimonial and this project. I know that it is easier for me than most, as I'm a professional web designer, but you can use websites like, say, Upwork or Fiverr, which are freelancing websites, to create and hire professional web designers to build professional designed landing pages or websites based around these case studies for anything up to €100 or $100, as less as that. I actually know this because I run a business on these platforms and we do this for our clients. So now we're on to step 3. Step 3 is where the magic really starts to happen. You start a hyper-focused marketing campaign targeting other similar wedding venues using your landing page, and your case study should be front and central to this along with your testimonial. Now you no longer just offer virtual tours for wedding venues, you offer a virtual wedding experience that effectively shortens the sales process, and you now have customers to back up your services. How much more powerful is that than your original offer? So let's take a quick look at how I would do this quickly. So I have worked with a luxury castle hotel, for example. I put a detailed plan in place on how they should use the content the best effect to get results that we discussed before beginning. So I get a testimonial from the customer testing to my services and the results that I have helped them achieve, for example. I then insert the content into my already pre-built landing page, and it looks a little something like this. So here's just a quick view of one that I made up. I'll be talking about this later. This is all included in the training and course that I will be providing. So that's just a quick overview of it. So now you've seen how you can easily go through those 3 steps to create that. So now what's next? So your hyper targeted marketing campaign kicks in. So just for example, you might use a bulk email finding software, or even just search for castle hotels in my region and collect all the email addresses that I can find. So I then send out a targeted email to all of these with the case study that I've collected, the testimonial and the content and the landing page, to really have a hyper focused targeted marketing campaign that actually is of interest to these potential customers. You can track the clicks and open rates by using a simple browser extension. A lot of this is free. So next I would also turn my attention to LinkedIn, and I'd reach out to employees working in similar luxury hotels or castle hotels. I would usually try and contact up to maybe 10 per day. It doesn't have to be anything major. The trick is just to be consistent with it. And what I would also do is duplicate the landing page that I've just shown you, and then I might rework it and then set up a new strategy for boutique hotels. So I would apply the same landing page you've seen, but change around the pictures and the wording, and then repeat the process of, say, collecting emails and sending out target email addresses and direct messaging on LinkedIn for owners or for sales and marketing professionals in boutique hotels. And now you have another niche to add to your list. Okay, so let's move on. So now you have seen how step 1 and 2 can push your business in the right direction, and how you can start building a specialized business in only 3 steps. You can see how you can set up every project for future success by deciding on what you want to get out of it in terms of a testimonial that you can use to create a hyper-focused marketing campaign, and how you can focus this towards multiple niches. So now we can move on to step 3. So step 3 is how to close the exact same customers for double the price next time. Okay, so you now have your case study for a wedding venue or for the luxury castle hotel, for example, and you can approach others with a much more confidence than you can before, first and foremost. You can be more confident that these hotels in these niches will pay more attention to what you're offering, and this is just a simple rule of business. A customer's vote of confidence in your business will make the sales process easier for you, especially in this day and age where everything is review based, and people are influenced by reviews, and this industry is no different. So secondly, you are now in a position to increase the price of your services as you have created a niche market for yourself. There are a couple of things that must align in order for you to increase your price without a loss of potential customers. So first, you must deliver an effective service in terms of what the desired outcomes are. You can charge more if you have a strategy and a plan in place for how they can use the content to achieve results that you have discussed. For example, how can they use the content to generate 5% more inquiries through their social media channels? Or for example, how can the wedding venue use the content and the strategies that you provided to convert 5% more people into customers, and that's focused towards people who, say, attended their wedding fair, so they use this in their follow-up communications to increase their conversion rates. How much more powerful and attractive is this offer than the vast majority are offering? It's much better, right? So as a rule of thumb, your case study plus your proposed results plus your strategy to achieve these results equals a much higher chance of a sale. So now when it comes to the price negotiations, you have already set your services at a much higher level. You have approached this business as a sales and marketing specialist that uses virtual experiences to get results. You're not just another virtual tour service provider. By following these steps above and introducing the strategies and discussing the desired outcomes in terms of the figures you want to achieve together, you have a winning solution that can be applied to any industry. I've showed you how this worked for me in the pharmaceutical sector, but this is also how I got multiple high-paying clients each month in the hospitality sector. So now we move on to step 4. So step 4 is where the magic really starts to happen. If you can create confidence in your potential customers in terms of the level of service you provide and in the results you can achieve for them, and then offer them a risk-free guarantee, you are onto a winning solution. You will remove lots of uncertainty that they might be having, and taking a leap of faith and working with you will no longer seem risky. So I've showed you how you can create confidence by setting up each project for a winning case study and going that extra mile to help your clients get results. So now let's take a look at the different ways you can offer a guarantee in your business. So it is important to say that these guarantees, they will evolve with your business also. So there are 2 types of guarantees that you can offer, and if implemented correctly, you have a winning formula. So the first one is the return on investment guarantee. This is a guarantee that will put any business at ease, but in order to be able to offer this, you must first become a master of the numbers. You must be able to analyze each client effectively, and also be able to calculate the return on investment that your services offer. To do this, you need to be able to calculate how much your client is, say, currently spending on marketing and sales, and where this money is going, into what avenues and what channels, what results they are getting, and where your services can be introduced into their current processes to either shorten the sales process, increase their inquiries, reduce their price per lead, or save them time and in turn save them money. And if not, you need to be able to introduce a completely new alternative solution that impacts their business in a positive way. You do not need to be a master of sales and digital marketing. You just need to be able to analyze their business correctly and see where your services can be applied, and then what is the benefits in terms of the outcomes that you can achieve together. I have used this in the past, and you can set a deadline of anywhere up to 180 days return on investment guarantee, and if implemented correctly, you will not incur any risk. It works particularly well with larger organizations that are spending money on advertising and marketing. So let's take a little look at the second one, which is the easier one for you to implement. So this is the try before you buy guarantee. This works well if you are either starting out in your business or if you are already established. If you are starting out, you can offer this as a way of getting new clients on board. If you are an existing and established business, you can offer this to complement your sales strategy and increase your conversion rates. So this is how you can actually offer this to your clients. So number one, you need to actually implement this strategy correctly, you need to be able to stick to a proven sales process. So number one in this process is to ask the right questions to set your perceived expertise at a high level when you enter the conversation. Number two is to find their pain points and the points where you can actually apply the tours and the virtual experiences to improve their current processes. Number three is to find out their desired results and business goals for the next 12 months. Number four is to then actually present a strategy to achieve these desired results and a week by week or a month by month plan to keep on top of this. And now for the first time, if you have done this correctly, you can introduce point number 5, which is the try before you buy guarantee. This will become a valuable tool in your arsenal if used correctly. If you will follow the sales process correctly and present the real opportunities in terms of your services, the customer's interest will already be piqued. Then once you offer a risk-free guarantee, you can offer a level of certainty to your customers that they need to close the sale. If you do this correctly and set up your services at a much higher level, once you introduce the guarantee, you will find that sometimes the customer will actually close the sale for you and you won't even have to. So now that you see the value of this tool, let's see how this guarantee works. Okay, so after you reach point 4, which is presenting a strategy to achieve their desired results, you should discuss the price. The longer you wait in the sales process and the longer that you can get without discussing the price, the less of an issue it will be, and it will show that your potential customer is actually very interested in what you're offering. So the important thing is to try and position your services as a specialized sales and marketing provider that uses these new forms of media to get desired results. If you do this and approach the sales process as I have outlined for you above, you will ensure this. Then once you do come to the pricing section, your price will be higher than your competition, but it won't matter. And then you can also offer the guarantee to create even more certainty in your services and the results that you can get them. So I will change it up and let's take a little look at a private school example just to explain this further to you. So private schools, they charge a lot for their students to enroll. So let's say you are completing a student for a private school and their price per student for enrollment for the year is say $10,000. You want to present a comprehensive plan and a strategy on how they can use your service to shorten their sales process by communicating with parents more effectively. You might introduce a strategy to use the tours or virtual experiences in their current landing pages or current digital marketing efforts to increase the numbers that attend, say, their open days that get them in the doors. So the trick is to present a plan and a strategy that is focused over a couple of months period where you will help track and implement the content effectively. Your price is set to say $2,000 for example, and you offer them the try before you buy guarantee for 30 days, and all they have to do is pay you a deposit of $500, and if they don't want to use the content after 30 days, they don't have to pay the rest. In this case, that means you're covered. You're still getting paid for a day's shoot and your expenses will be covered with a little bit extra. But if you do deliver a service that you said you will deliver, you can then invoice them for the extra $1,500 after the 30 days. And now also you will be able to see that this strategy can work and it has worked for you, and you have another case study and another thing to add to your arsenal, and you can now focus on this niche market. Okay, so let's move on. So now that you've seen that, you're probably thinking that this requires time, money, and sales and marketing skills. Well, I'm here to tell you that that is wrong. You need to have an understanding of what will create confidence in your customers' minds and what will make it easier for them to say yes. You need to create certainty and a strategy that does this and shows that you're not actually a get in, get out provider, and that you are somebody and a business worth working with. Once you do this, the price will not be the main concern, and you will not be a provider that is easily substituted. At the moment, it is likely that you can be replaced, or that there is an alternative provider or an alternative solution in your market, and your potential customers know this, and they know that they have a choice. But if you do the steps needed to, say, number one, set up every project for a winning case study. Number two, create a specialized business in the 3 steps I've just shown you. This will then lead to number 3 and number 4, which is you'll be able to increase your price confidently, and then you'll be able to build in a guarantee to close more deals. You will then have a winning solution for you and your customers, and you create this win-win scenario. If you were in a price war at the moment, it's because your focus is too wide. I've seen this hundreds of times. You try and focus on every industry and talk to as many as you can and send as many emails as you can without any clear strategy and just getting the same results. If you focus on creating results in niches and building case studies and then starting hyper fresh and hyper focused marketing campaigns consistently, you will 1, have better conversion rates, and 2, have a higher price per project. So now let me ask you a question real quick. If you follow the 3 steps that I have shown you to build a specialized business and then use a platform you have built to confidently double your price or increase it substantially, and then you were able to offer a guarantee on top of this, do you think that you would have more success when it came to sales? Yes, of course you will, and you can successfully separate yourself from the rest of the herd and create your own new market. I wanted to tell you a little story that I think is relevant and important in this case. I heard a great podcast the other day with Sam Ovens, which is a 28-year-old internet entrepreneur, made 20 million last year and is set to make anywhere between 40 to 50 million this year. He doesn't own multiple businesses or have multiple sources of income. He has one single business, one sales funnel, and one main source of all his leads. He shows consulting businesses how to get new clients. He focuses attention on one core offer, and he has perfected it to a T to become an expert and put himself at the top of the top 1%. It was interesting to hear in this podcast that many others in the 1% were actually going to Sam for help as he'd become the go-to source when it came to this area of expertise. His prices are much, much higher than all of these others in the top 1%, and because his reputation and his results speak for themselves. The point of this story is that if you cast a wide net, you will pick up business, but your prices or perceived expertise will still and will always remain the same. You don't have to be as narrow-minded in your approach, but the sooner you focus on building a specialised offer, the sooner your expertise and prices will rise and your sales process will become so much easier. Once you do this correctly for a niche in any industry, you can then see the results that it brings and you can easily replicate it for another niche market. So how excited are you about all of this about all that I've talked about? It is okay to be, I suppose, a little overwhelmed or feel like a little bit of information overload because it is a lot to take in. But it is important to remember that within your market there are a number of industries and a number of niche markets within each one. And the business that successfully conquers a niche and builds a specialised business by building a strong customer base which are linked to strong results, they will be very hard to compete with, and they can command a higher price than your business. So there is a time restriction on this, and you need to be able to take action right now. It is impossible to show you everything in this training, but I've tried to cover as much as possible in a way that you can use and implement right away in your current business, or if you're actually planning on setting up business